Okay, so I have added on, sorry, I keep forgetting to turn the camera. I've added on now to this area here. So you see this, not the greatest looking stump, but it looks kind of cool. Looking at it from here though, huh? If I could just remove that piece that's in the middle of it, like in the front, that would be great. And then the stump kind of sit there. It kind of looks kind of cool now on camera, but anyway. So this is where the flowers are gonna be. Sorry I'm breathing hard. I was digging this area up. So instead of just on the sides, I decided to extend it out for my cut flowers and extend it around here. I figured to kind of help cover up this stump here. So this little piece right here, I'm gonna try to see if I can get rid of that little piece there, and then I think it would be really nice. So this is my thoughts on it anyway, of what I'm thinking. And then for here, this of course is going to be the walkway area, so I'm going to extend this on out more, add more wood here, maybe about 4 more I'm thinking, and then have it to stop about here, and then that's where you can see the grass comes on down here. So that's what I'm thinking, add about 4 more pieces of wood here. It's not sturdy because there's a big one spot, because there's a big root there under the very bottom, which I'm going to try to get something to cut it, but for right now, I'm pretty much the only one that comes in here, so I know how to walk in near my girls. But other than that, I'm pretty much the only person that walks in here anyway for now. So it's okay. And the other ones are starting to settle in. So yeah, so over time, I know they may end up rotting, but the wood was free. It's just from pallets, so hey, I'm gonna cross that when I get to it. For right now, this is what I'm doing, but I may end up staining it at some point, just keeping that natural look. And I was debating on painting my door as well, but I'm not exactly sure if I will. I might. So I might. So here we have this area here. Like I said, that I was standing around to do the cut flowers in this area, and seeing about putting them on here, as I was saying. So yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's going to look gorgeous to walk in here and have the cut flowers on each side. Oh, that breeze! Oh my gosh! To have the cut flowers on each side, and as you walk in, you have them on this side and then on this side as well. So I think that's going to look beautiful. And then as you can see on around here, I have my rose bush here. So I did stop, not put the cut flowers here and there. I ended up planting something right there. So that's before I had this idea. But anyway, so I didn't go all the way up because the gate has to open, in that little spot you see there gives room for the gate to open without, the flowers being in the way. So I was stopping it there. And if they start to grow and they're leaning up, I'll just kind of tie them back so they won't be in the way of the door. But here, I stopped here, because the rose bush is here too. And so I just ended up stopping that right here in that area. But if I see, later where I'm like, oh, I could always add to it, but I think I want to keep it like this so I can see the rose bush for sure. And I extended it here, and so far no growth in here, so I'm going to keep watching that. But the zinnias, I think it's zinnias, and these two are growing, so I will probably end up moving these once the flowers grow up. I'll end up moving these and start to work on my deck, or I beautify my deck and putting my kitchen, so let's see what that was, put in my kitchen area. I'm like, what is that? Sorry y'all, I be seeing stuff and I be like, oh, it's not a snake, is it? Okay, no, it's not. So having my deck kitchen so to speak, with herbs and different things like that. I tried stevia, I think I'm pronouncing it right, stevia for the first time this morning. because they're growing. They're doing excellent. That is sweet. It is so good. I'm like, I can't wait to try that in like some type of drink or something, like a tea or whatever. Who knew? But anyway, neither here nor there. I have to show you guys to see. It's pretty cool. At first you're like, okay, I don't taste nothing, but as you start to bite into it, I rubbed it and bit into it. I was like, okay, yeah. So that'll be a nice little treat, like just a little something sweet, even for the girls. So I'm gonna read up on it some more and stuff too. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just excited about this. Like, this is what I see anyway. This is how I'm imagining it, with nothing but beautiful big cut flowers here in this area. And I'm walking in and I just look out my window, because this is my kitchen right next to it. I can look out and see the beautiful cut flowers. So this is how I'm thinking anyway, and it'll also kind of help with that stomp when you're pulling up in the yard. I know I still got to get some gravel, but hey, we're getting there. And I need to clean that area out up in there. I'm going to make that a reading area. My son wanted to do that. So yeah, so I'm going to do that, have a little bench in there, and you could probably go in there, like I said, have it as a little reading area. But however, I have a lot of things to do here, but guess what? It will keep me busy. And I think that's a very good thing. I find myself want to be more connected outside. I've always been into crafting and doing things with my hand, and I was always interested in growing food. I did start in, I think, 2021 was the first year I grew anything, I think. And I did all bags, and I got some growth. And at that time, I ended up moving, purchasing a home, and yeah, so I ended up leaving that, and I got there, I did maybe just turnips, and that was it. But then I ended up selling that home and getting this because it's more property. That I didn't even have an acre of land. So yeah, so here we go, here we are to here. So now we're here at Jopurs Grove here, and just making my mark here, leaving something for my children's children, to come and one day have their feet in the same places that I've had my feet. And I'm sitting here about to cry, and I don't know why. These hormones, I tell you. But yeah, just imagine your grandparents, great grandparents. I mean, some of you may have had that, where you were left land and you're on that same property where your great grandparents were, or however it is, or even just your parents. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to know that you are stepping where they once stepped. You are producing food where they once produced. They got the ground ready for you. They prepared it for you, because that's what we're supposed to do. You're setting up for your children's children. So you're doing it. That means passing things down that you can pass down: land, legacy, skills. That's what I want my kids to always remember me by. That mama, she was always believed in. Ooh, that scared me. Beautifying things. She always believed in working with her hands and learning things and doing things. And they can sit around here. I want to build an area. They sit around and they talk about how I used to be, when I'm dead and gone, at age maybe 120. Yeah, and still within my right mind, and I can sit in this same land and talk to my great grandkids or whatever. But anyway, just thought, because my mom didn't have that opportunity to do that, but she's here with me and being able to help also leave legacy of 2 generations here on this property. So yeah, just making memories. And that's where my life is right now. I just want to make and create memories. I think before and when you're young, you're living for yourself, you know what I mean? But as you get older, you begin to live for your children's children. You begin to want to make memories and have things so they can have to remember you by. So yeah, like my wedding dress, I've been had now for about 11 years, and my daughter got it, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna use that and get married in. My 22-year-old, she's engaged, but maybe 2 years before she's they do decide to go ahead with it because she have non-epileptic seizures where they're still trying to decide what it is. So she's been focused on her health and, you know, getting that straightened out, and things like that first. And he's working on himself of, you know, he just got a promotion and things like that. So they're working on the groundwork first, which is very smart. You know, I didn't do that. And I'm sure many of you didn't probably as well, but I'm glad they are definitely taking time to work the groundwork first. So anyway, she got my wedding dress. That's something that, you know, and I told her when she's finished, keep it, you know, and then her sisters can get it, or even her daughter can then wear it, you know, have it taken in. It's a beautiful royal blue dress, and it, you know, sticks out like a ballroom dress, you know. So I mean, yeah, to get taken in or get it taken out, you know, or whatever. So anyway, just that's making memories. And I kept it, and I thought about selling it one time, and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it. And I'm glad I did. So that's what I'm doing here, making memories. You know, when we purchased this property, this wasn't here. I had this built here. Some guys came and did it for me, did it within a couple hours. This wasn't here. The center area here wasn't completed, so we finished that area. We didn't have the flower beds here as well, so we added in, you know, the flower beds, which we're going to work on the front porch as well. So there are things that were not on this property that we are, you know, adding to this property to make it, you know, our own, beautifying it. So this definitely added a big plus to this area, and I'm constantly going to continue to add to it. I'm going to continue to build this land. I don't think anybody should have a mortgage and pay mortgage and property taxes, and all you do is go home and go in your house. You know, you may not be into gardening. You may not be into wanting to grow food. You may not be into wanting to cut flowers. You may not be into, like, we're getting ready to get chickens too within maybe about a month as we get the coop and everything cleaned up there. You may not be into that. But find something where, if you don't do anything but host stuff for your family to come out on Sundays at your home. You don't do anything but go out there yourself and have a place you sit and you read. Enjoy your property, enjoy your land, not just your home, but enjoy the actual foundation that your home is built on, because a solid foundation is the key to everything. So it's not the shell that's on the foundation, it's the foundation of it. So enjoy the foundation, enjoy the beauty of your home. You know, if it's not in the best of shape, it's not the greatest looking home, you got a lot of land, or you can make that home better. You can't add on more land once you purchase your land, unless your neighbors decide to sell or move. You know, once you get your land, you locked in. Your house, you know, you can add on to your home, but if you don't have the space, the property, the land to do so, then what you have is pretty much what you get. So when you get a home and it may not be the biggest house, you can add on to it. That was my idea here. The home is not a 5-bedroom, 3 baths. However, it was a great fit for us. And then 3 acres of land, so I have enough room to build on. You know what I mean? I can set up, you know, to get a permit to see about adding on another, you know, tiny home at some point if my daughter and son-in-law wants to move out here, you know, or whatever the case may be, or even build on to what we already have. We have the space to do so. So don't focus so much on the home is not the biggest, but look at the land in which you can produce things to then create generational wealth from within your own property. So look at that, not just the home of how great and big and beautiful it is, but look at how you can add on and make that home yours and even more beautiful. And pay attention to the price of it. Even if you can afford it right now and you're like, oh, I'll still have about $2,000 left over even after paying the mortgage. Still, get something as low as you can purchase it, but something that you enjoy. I'm not telling you to live like a peasant. I'm not saying get a little bit, you know, but I'm saying don't get more because you can afford more, because at some point in your life you're going to want to step back from it all. I'm telling you, you're going to want to step back from the 9 to 5. You're going to want to step back from every day. If you are, especially if you have an entrepreneur spirit, you're going to want to step back at some point in your older age. You're going to want to step back. You're going to want to start to sell things that you have in your home. Like, oh, this is too much stuff. You're going to want to be, I can't really say that word, minimalist. I had to break it down like that to kind of make it make sense. You're going to want a simple life. Like, I'm at the place now, I want a simple life. I want simplicity. You know what I mean? I want simplicity. Yes, I want to make sure I have, more than enough to occupy my lifestyle and to be able to help others. However, I don't want to spend that in paying to a mortgage. I don't want to spend that in paying to a car payment. I want to spend that into building up my property, building up my land, building up my, making sure you have life insurance, a very good life insurance policy, where if you don't have a lot of money saved, that life insurance policy can pay off for your children. And it's taking trips is amazing. It's awesome. But for where I am now, I've traveled a lot, and I don't mind taking day trips. I want to get an RV and we ride and travel and see the land and do things like that. I'm just more into a simple life now. I'm not into expensive hair, expensive clothes, expensive purses, expensive bags. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it for anybody who's doing it. At one point, I did like Michael Kors when it was, more of on the expensive end. I did like, the Michael Kors watch, the long, the expensive hair, or, my nails, which I can get my nails done now. My daughter does amazing nails. When she does have a YouTube channel as well, I need to add that in for a YouTube channel. I can't think of the name of it right now. But if you're interested in seeing about nails, just leave a comment and I'll definitely remember then to drop the link. However, and my son also has a gaming channel. So anyway, moving forward from that. So yeah, I just want more simple, y'all. The simple for me, the better, because now certain things, it's too much, But anyway, I didn't get on here to talk about all that. I actually got on here just to show you guys what I was doing. But yeah, and as you can see, the cucumber, I did not expect this. Now I put the trellis here thinking, oh, these beans just gonna grow up this trellis. No, I think this is just the size they're gonna get, and they're producing beans. Well, I actually had enough beans to actually cook some from here. Wasn't enough for everybody. However, it was enough, for 2 people, and my kids didn't really want any anyway. But anyway, so yeah, but the cucumbers, they could have used a trellis, because I just didn't see that one coming. So yeah, so let's hopefully prayerfully we get some cucumbers up in here soon. So seeing if they're just gonna go down and climb the ground over there, and then if it gets too much out of hand, I'll end up, I don't know, doing something else with them. But right now, I'm just letting them do what they do. We don't really have a deer problem, thank God. If we get deers, they're way in the back, and it's not as many. They're mainly, on the road. But I haven't seen any deers up here in this area. Unlike my other home, they did. So I had this fencing here thinking I would really need it for that. But we do have the neighbors who used to have chickens. Not my neighbors, but next over, and they would come over. And she mentioned they were messing around with her yard. Other than that, we do have the neighbors' dogs come next door, but I don't think they really too much mess with anything other than they dig over here with my sunflowers. But they're probably thinking that's just grass. But those taller ones are sunflowers, which I had idea just to kind of cover that and put sunflowers all around. But I'm letting the grass grow back in this area, and I'm just gonna let the sunflowers do what they do. And I don't know, because someone said not to pull them up now at this stage, so I'm just gonna leave them alone and kind of leave that area alone and see what pops up, because I put some of everything over there. But anyway, as far as flowers wise, but in here, we're getting some growth and stuff. The okra is definitely starting to grow now. I still don't have anything in this area. I was gonna do cut flowers here, but I'm gonna just start here for my practice area with cut flowers, because I've never grown cut flowers. So I'm gonna just use the outside area and keep my food within this area. So I got to get some, and then we missed the grass right up in there. So I got to get some more things to put out here to grow. And yeah, and definitely I want to add some flowers out here. So I have some marigolds in there. I want to see some more green in here. Not green, but color adding in here too. So I did add in, I think, some zinnias are in here that sprouted up, and I'll probably add these colorful ones in here, or I may down the path area here alongside there. I may put some stuff in the back. I don't know. I feel like that space could definitely been used for something too. So over time, as I grow my garden more and more each year, I'm gonna probably eventually buy raised beds and layer, put those on that side. Just some raised beds, and the smaller ones, maybe about this size here, of the black size, and put those within there and grow in there too. Probably will also need to get weed in here too. That should happen this week. In this area here, add some more bags here. Just fill this place up with food. But this is my first year here doing it. I'm new to it. I did it 2021. I didn't know what I was doing, but I grew stuff then, but it was in bags. But I didn't do it long enough to actually produce stuff at the time when I was there to actually start seeing things and growing us being able to eat it, other than I think some beans, maybe. I can't remember, but excuse me. Some beans, but this year, so this is pretty much, I'm going to say this is my first real year here. Kind of, sort of. So next year we'll get more and more. I'm learning what grows here. Cucumbers, no problem. Snap beans, no problem. I see corn, no problem. I actually, in July, August, so last year, we purchased home in July, so this July will be a year. I did do some corn. I did put a little stuff because I had this fence since last year, and I only had just like 3 bags, couple things. And corn did grow, but it didn't get a chance to finish on because I had in a little bitty thing. And I had some beans, but they were like the beans like this. And oh, look, I just noticed that they got one on there. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that. That's why I check every day. That is why I check every day. So you see, they actually have some growing on there. So I need to find the other ones that are like this and make sure, because they're all in this bag, to make sure they're growing up thing here. So I'll look on this side, and because I put some in here too, and make sure they're growing up the fence, because I did make those kind of start to grow up here. So I'm going to do that because they actually have beans and I didn't even notice it. So yeah. So anyway, so we definitely have more than I had last year. So each year I'm getting better and better and better and better and better. And I have marigold put in there. And tomatoes, and I think okra is in there. But anyway, I had cabbage or whatever it was in it, but they didn't do too great. So I took them out, but I see they're starting to kind of want to grow there. And even back there, the turnips or whatever that is, I don't know, turnips or collard, they are starting to sprout up. I don't know when their time is. I need to look it up. But at one point I was thinking about clearing that whole thing, but I think I'm gonna let them kind of do what they do. But I got a clear space back there that we definitely need to do some stuff with. But for right now, this is what we got. So I'll get some more stuff and add in. And yeah, I'm excited about the beans though. The beans are doing very well. So yeah, and then the hot peppers, I was like, are you growing? But I put a little stick there so I can kind of tell. But yeah, I think they were definitely growing. The lettuce, I didn't think they were growing, but looks like it's definitely growing. The tomatoes, I put them on this thing, they're growing. So we're getting there, and I planted some flowers in there, so we will have some coloring. I think I just put zinnias in there, maybe some sunflowers. I don't know what I put in there, but anyway, however, I know zinnias I think I put in there. So yeah, we'll start to see some flowers up in there too, some zinnias. So I'm excited to see what all we do. But I definitely need to weed around here and weed around this thing. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like the middle is definitely, we're getting that in the middle area for the sunflower. So I don't know when we'll start to see anything. And we have some little ones there too. That's the sunflower. I planted a good amount to go all the way around. That's the sunflower. There. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So all right, yep, these are a lot of stumps here. Wish they would have cut them a little bit better. My friend actually was here and was messing with that and knocked some of the stuff off to make it like that, because it was kind of just like this. But anyway, think I've talked enough, like I said. So yeah, and then I had the soil here. I'm telling you, if you want to kill some grass, put some bags or something down. So I'm like, oh, kill my grass right here. So yeah, but it'll definitely grow back. So I just moved it here for now, and then I probably end up just putting it on my deck, but I just left it right here for right now. So I moved it so I could cut the grass in this area. But yeah, all right guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to all my new subscribers. If you like the content that I'm putting out and taking you along the journey as we continue to build our own homestead, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and you can hit the notification bell if you would like to, so that way you'll always be up to date and you'll be on point when we upload our next video. Okay, y'all go have a great day and go create something.